So when you see a problem like this, a lot of people are going to be tempted right away to do something like divide by x squared, because they'll see that when they divide by x squared, the x, like, that gets rid of some x's and that makes the problem easier. And your math teachers will tell you that that's not a valid move. And the reason your math teachers will tell you that's not a valid move is because what if x equals 0? Then you'd be dividing by 0, and that's not allowed. So they're correct, first off, that this is not a valid move. But what is sort of valid is if you want to divide by something like this, like here we're dividing by x squared, whatever x value would make that equal 0, that's just going to be a solution to this equation. So like I think it's totally valid. Well, it will get you the correct answer. I can guarantee you that if you divide both sides by x squared, and then because when x equals 0, x squared equals 0, x equals 0 is going to be a solution to this equation. And we can plug it in. Like if you look at the original equation up top, you can see that that's true. 0 to the 4th equals 4 times 0 squared. So we'll do this kind of the valid math teacher way after this. But we'll do it this way first. We divide both sides by x squared. And since when x equals 0, x squared equals 0, x equals 0 is going to be a solution to this equation. And so what does that leave us with? That leaves us with x squared equals 4. So now we can just square root both sides and get x equals plus or minus 2. And those are the answers. X equals 0 and plus or minus 2. So now let's do this the valid math teacher way. So let's clear out this problem again. So what do we really need to do? Well, really, we're not allowed to divide by x squared because x could be 0. So what we need to do is we need to think about factoring. We got to get everything to the same side so we can factor. And then now, what can you factor out? Well, there's an x squared in both of those things, so you can factor out an x squared. And what are we left with when we factor out an x squared? Well, the same thing we got before when we divided by x squared. So now we have this. And then now we have our idea. We got two things multiplied together to be 0. So either x squared equals 0 or x squared minus 4 equals 0. And there you see the two solutions that we got before. So math teachers will always say that, and that's definitely an important thing to point out, that dividing by x squared is like a scary move here. But if you divide by x squared and just recognize that that means you have a solution of x equals 0, then that's valid, honestly. And it's the same thing as if there was an x plus 1 here on both of these. You could divide both sides by x plus 1. Just realize that that means you have x equals negative 1 as a solution. And you could just look up at that equation and see how that works out. And that works out because you just get 0 on both sides. So that's the move here, is divide if you want, but be careful. In reality, we got to get everything to the same side so we can factor. That's the proper way to do these types of problems.